Long before modern spas or scented candles, ancient people saw bathing as a sacred dialogue with purity itself. To them, water wasn't just for cleaning, it was a bridge between the body and the divine. Each city carved its own rituals, and every bath carried a story of status, health, and spirit. In Mesopotamia, the first organized bathing sites appeared along the rivers of Tigris and Euphrates. Merchants, priests, and travelers all used the same steps of clay brick, letting the river wash away their fatigue. For them, purification meant aligning with the gods who ruled both rain and drought. The Sumerians built small private tubs inside their homes, shaped from polished stone and fed by hand-carried jars. They used mineral salts, flower oils, and sand to scrub the body before prayer. Bathing was not vanity, it was devotion in liquid form. Across the desert, in ancient Egypt, bathing became an art of beauty and belief. The Nile's sacred water was drawn at sunrise for its supposed life force. Egyptian nobles perfumed their baths with lotus oil and blue dye to honor the god Hapi, lord of the river. Ordinary Egyptians washed thrice a day, morning, noon, and dusk, using palm fiber cloths dipped in natron salt. They believed unclean skin invited evil spirits and disease. Cleanliness, to them, was half medicine and half morality. Temples had sacred pools where priests purified before touching offerings. Some pools were aligned so perfectly that sunrise light touched the center of the water only once each year. It was said the gods themselves bathed in that reflection. In Greece, bathing grew from ritual into recreation. Public baths, or lutra, were built beside gymnasiums where athletes washed after training. For the Greeks, a clean body reflected a disciplined mind. Greek philosophers even debated the moral meaning of water. Plato wrote that washing could renew the soul, while others warned against excess luxury. Yet, almost every home in Athens had a small terracotta basin, proof that cleansing was both physical and spiritual. Public bathhouses became centers of conversation and healing. Steam mixed with talk of politics and poetry, as healers massaged olive oil into weary muscles. The fragrance of thyme and honey drifted like philosophy through the air. Farther east, in the Indus Valley, bathing was woven into architecture itself. Every home in Mohenjo-Daro had a private bathing area connected to drains centuries ahead of its time. Clean water flowed through baked brick channels, showing how seriously purity was taken. The Great Bath of Mohenjo-Daro remains one of archaeology's quiet marvels. Built with perfect symmetry, it held sacred water for collective purification. Scholars believe ceremonies there were less about hygiene and more about shared renewal. Across the ancient world, scented oils replaced soap. People mixed olive, almond, and sesame oils with crushed herbs to remove dust. After bathing, slaves scraped the oil off with bronze strigils, leaving the skin shining like polished stone. Bathing also had music. In Egypt, flutes played near temple pools. In Greece, harpists performed during noble baths. The harmony of sound and scent made cleansing a ritual of all senses. In ancient Persia, bathhouses became architectural jewels called hammams. Decorated with domes and mosaics, they offered steam, silence, and poetry. Each visitor moved from cold to warm to hot rooms, a journey through temperature and time. Persian scholars wrote that a man's mood could be softened by the right degree of heat. So attendants poured perfumed water slowly, reciting verses from Hafez as the scent rose. Bathing became a meditation in motion. Meanwhile, in Rome, bathing reached its grandest scale. The Romans built vast thermae, entire cities within cities, with marble pools and vaulted ceilings. For a few coins, anyone could step into luxury. Bathing in Rome was both social and sacred. People met friends, did business, even shared meals between dips in the warm and cold chambers. It was said you could measure a man's character by the way he entered the water. The water itself came from aqueducts miles away, purified through sand and stone. Engineers directed hot springs into bronze boilers, maintaining perfect temperature all day. No empire had ever mastered bathing like Rome did. Every evening, perfumes of myrrh and rose filled the corridors of the baths of Caracalla. Sculptures of gods watched silently as hundreds soaked under marble domes. Here, the act of bathing became a daily theater of civilization. But behind the beauty lay purpose, renewal of body, respect for spirit, unity among citizens. Bathing was a mirror of balance, where warmth met humility and dirt met grace. As water touched skin, it washed away not just sweat but the memory of toil itself. When Roman influence spread eastward, even small towns built modest public baths. Travelers could find warmth and safety there before continuing their journeys. The baths became symbols of Roman order, civilization expressed through steam. Yet, in some northern provinces, water was feared more than revered. Cold rivers were linked with spirits that punished the impure. People cleansed instead with smoke and ash, a ritual of dryness and prayer. In Celtic regions, natural hot springs became sacred sites. Bathing there meant stepping into the breath of the earth itself. Coins and jewelry were thrown into the water as offerings of gratitude. The city of Bath in Britain still carries that memory in its name. Roman architects built over an older Celtic shrine, merging two worlds, faith and function. Steam rose through marble like prayers finding a new language. As centuries turned, water remained the purest mirror of power. Kings built private pools lined with gold mosaics and exotic perfumes. Commoners, meanwhile, bathed in rivers blessed by priests once a month. In ancient China, bathing was a ritual of harmony with the five elements. Warm water balanced the body's internal energy, while petals restored yin and yang. Before festivals, families shared a communal bath symbolizing renewal. Imperial palaces had secluded bath chambers called Yutang Jade Halls. Attendants carried silver pitchers, pouring water scented with chrysanthemum oil. Every drop was thought to wash away misfortune before the new moon. In Japan, bathing evolved into spiritual simplicity. Wooden tubs filled with hot spring water became temples of silence. People bowed before entering, acknowledging the soul of the spring. The earliest onsen villages nestled in mountains, their steam visible miles away. Travelers believed the vapor carried healing spirits from beneath the earth. To bathe, there was to share breath with ancient stone. Bathing also became medicine. Greek physicians recommended alternating hot and cold water to strengthen the heart. Roman doctors added mineral salts for pain relief, pioneering early hydrotherapy. By the medieval period, the art of bathing began to fade in the West. Fear of disease turned warmth into suspicion, and bathhouses closed one by one. The silence of drained pools echoed across forgotten cities. Still, in the Islamic world, bathing remained a divine duty. Every mosque had a fountain for wudu, the ritual of washing before prayer. Clean water became the threshold between the worldly and the sacred. The hammams of Damascus and Istanbul perfected the art of heat and shadow. Domes let sunlight fall in small circles like divine eyes. Marble floors warmed from beneath as voices whispered blessings. Attendants guided guests through stages from warm to hot to cold, symbolizing the soul's journey through the world. Perfumed soap foamed like clouds, leaving traces of rose on the skin. Cleanliness meant gratitude, not glamour. In India, sacred bathing was eternal. The Ganges River was called Mother, and pilgrims entered its waters at dawn chanting mantras. Each dip was believed to wash away lifetimes of burden. The city of Varanasi lived by the rhythm of water. Stone steps led from bustling streets into timeless silence below. Their purification was not routine, it was rebirth. Every ancient civilization turned bathing into art. Each saw water not as element but as messenger of life, health, memory. To forget those rituals was to forget how humanity once listened to silence. Archaeologists today uncover worn tiles, cracked drains, and residue of oils. Yet through those fragments, they glimpse lives that valued balance over display. Even dust remembers the rhythm of cleansing. When water touches ancient stone again after millennia, something poetic happens. History sighs, as if recognizing its own reflection. The forgotten baths awaken for a breath, then sleep once more. From Mesopotamia's rivers to Rome's marble halls, from Persia's hammams to India's ghats, one truth unites them all. Cleanliness was not vanity, it was reverence. Each bath, each drop, was a prayer whispered in liquid form. In medieval Europe, bathhouses turned from symbols of purity into whispers of fear. Rumors spread that heat and steam carried illness rather than cleansing it. The art of bathing dimmed like a candle starved of air. Yet, in the East, the hammams continued to glow. Even as kingdoms fell, steam rooms still filled with quiet devotion. Men and women washed not just to clean, but to remember dignity. By the Renaissance, bathing returned to Europe's palaces. Artists painted fountains and marble baths as symbols of rebirth. Once again, water and art began to speak the same language. The 17th century saw perfumed bathing water rise in popularity. Lavender, rose, and citrus oils turned washing into luxury once more. Each drop reflected both wealth and nostalgia for the ancients. In Japan, the tradition of onsen remained unchanged for centuries. Villagers still bowed before entering, whispering gratitude to the earth. The hot springs became living time machines of purity. In India, pilgrims continued to gather by the Ganges under saffron skies. Children splashed where sages prayed, both equal in the river's eyes. Here, water remembered every name it ever touched. China's imperial baths evolved into herbal spas during the Ming era. Medicinal roots and blossoms floated in bronze cauldrons of steaming water. Healing became both science and serenity. In Istanbul, marble hammams echoed with centuries of footsteps. Travelers from every land found warmth beneath those domes. The language of water needed no translation. By the 19th century, modern plumbing brought private baths to homes. For the first time in millennia, people could summon purity with a twist of a tap. The ritual became comfort, the sacred turned domestic. Yet something intangible was lost. The silence, the scent, the communal heartbeat of water faded behind tiled walls. Bathing became routine, not reverence. Archaeologists today still uncover bath ruins buried beneath cities. Drainage channels, perfume jars, and oil strigils tell quiet stories. Each discovery is a whisper from humanity's cleanest memory. In museums, the bronze mirrors once used in bath rituals still shine faintly. They reflect not faces, but fragments of forgotten mornings. In their silence, you can almost hear dripping water. Some ancient baths still function today, fed by the same springs. Visitors walk barefoot where kings once prayed. For a moment, centuries collapse into warmth. In these places, the air smells of history and jasmine. You can almost feel invisible hands pouring water from long-forgotten jugs. The ghosts of ritual remain gentle, content to be remembered. Across continents, old waters still flow through new pipes. They remind us that every bath we take is an echo of an older rhythm. Purity has changed shape but not meaning. The ancients understood something we often forget. To cleanse the body was also to quiet the mind. Every drop carried intention, not indulgence. From rivers to temples, from oils to steam, they taught us balance. Bathing was neither luxury nor labor. It was harmony with life, a daily rehearsal for rebirth. Modern wellness trends echo those ancient insights. Saunas, aromatherapy, mineral baths, all are old rituals in new clothes. We keep rediscovering what our ancestors already knew. To bathe was never just to wash. It was to pause, to reconnect with the rhythm of existence. And in that still water, people once found peace deeper than the sea. The forgotten bathing rituals of ancient cities were never truly lost. They live each time water touches skin, each time steam fogs a mirror. What began as worship has become memory, still pure, still alive.